Hi, this is Lauren here at Craft Some Joy, and I am so excited to bring you another scrap with us. My buddy Kylie Kingham at Paper Sweet Pea and I love bringing you some new content every month using the fabulous Creative Memories products. And this time we are using the Seasonal Sightings collection. So grab your supplies and let's jump in and start creating together. Okay, so let's first get started by pulling the paper we're going to need from these three paper packs. We're going to use the Seasonal Sightings designer paper, the Seasonal Sightings tone on tone, and the Totally Tonal Christmas. We're just going to need a few sheets from each pack. So from the designer paper pack, we need to grab the dark green polka dot paper, and you just need one sheet of that. And that's all we're going to grab from this pack. Then from the Seasonal Sightings tone on tone, we are going to use a few sheets from here. We're going to need this dark green kind of sweater paper. So let's grab one of those and set that aside. We're also going to need the red sweater paper as well, the dark red. And then I'm also, I guess I really liked the sweater paper in this pack. We're going to use the tan kind of sweater paper with the dots. Okay, then the last pack is the Totally Tonal Christmas pack. And from this pack, we will be using two of this light tan plaid. So we need both sheets of this. And this is the one with the very small gingham plaid on the back. Okay, so let's grab those, put them aside, and start our cutting. Let's start with the dark green polka dot paper, and we are going to need two 3x12 cuts on this paper. So cut that once, 3 inches, and then another 3 inches. So let's take these and put them in our use pile over here, and the rest we can set aside. Okay, so the next paper is our sweater paper, and for this we will need to use this in a directional format. So I want the sweater pattern running horizontally, and we are going to need a 9-inch section. So let's go ahead, bring the arm out and cut this at 9 inches. Okay, and this leftover piece is extra. And then I'm going to need 4 1.5-inch strips. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Oh, and I did flip the paper so that my sweater pattern is still running horizontally. So now I have 1, 2, 3, and one more is 4. And the rest of this paper for now is extra. Let's set our 4 strips over in our use pile. Then we're going to come to our plaid paper, and this paper we're going to need out of both sheets 2 9x9 squares. So we're going to first cut our 9-inch strip, which is going to leave this beautiful 12-inch piece, and then we're going to rotate and cut another 9-inch square strip off. Okay, and so we've got those are extra, and we're going to use our 9-inch square. Now for this paper, what I want to do before we get started on cutting the 9 inches is I want to cut a 3/8-inch strip off. And actually I'm going to cut 2 3/8-inch strips from my trimmer. And that's right here at the very first line of the ruler at the top. Okay, so I'm going to line my paper up right there. Okay, and I also like to look right down here and make sure, since it's such a small and narrow cut, that I'm lined up both at the top and the bottom. Okay, so just going to make that cut once, and then I'm going to do that one more time. So again, lining my paper up at the top and at the bottom and making that little cut. Okay, so we have our 2 strips. I'm going to set those aside in my pile. And then from this paper, we're going to cut, again, a 9 by 9 square. So again, working with that, we've got a 9. This is going to be extra, and a 9-inch. There we go. Okay, so that goes in our used pile. Now we are at the tan sweater paper with the polka dots. What I'd like to do is cut a 4-inch strip, and then we're going to make 3 4x4 squares. Okay, so we're going to cut this once. This is going to be extra. Now we're going to rotate and cut this into 3 4x4 squares. 2 and 3. Okay, so now we've got our 3 little squares. And then our last piece of paper, this is actually going to be for the border maker system. So we can put our trimmer away. And for this paper, I am going to use the new cable weave chain border maker cartridge. And this is still available at the time of the recording of this video as one of the features of the Black Friday bundles. But if you don't happen to have this cartridge, any kind of a chain decorative edge would work well with this. So let's just first start by getting our paper in there. And this is a directional paper, so depending on how you want to use the back side, you can insert your paper whichever direction. I'm going to do it like this so that the sweater pattern has that horizontal edge to it, but I am going to be using this side of the paper. Okay, so let's just go ahead and punch our strip. I really have been getting some use out of this new border maker cartridge. It's one of those that just adds kind of a neat touch. The rope chain would also work beautifully, but there's something just a little different about this one that I really enjoy. And now one more strip. Okay, so we'll set those 2 strips aside. The rest of this paper is extra. Now that we have everything cut, I've brought in my 2 13 by 13 cutting mats, which I love to build my pages on. And we are going to just set our base pages in place. So let's start by just bringing our pieces in the correct places. So the dotted paper is going to go on both edges of our mats, just on the far left and the far right. And then we are going to just set those little squares aside as well as our strips for now. And then we're going to just place in our sweater paper. So you can look and see that some of these might kind of have a pattern that matches up, just like these kind of match up. And let's just set this here, and maybe, actually, let's see, I think this one may work better here, and this one here, and that like that. Okay, so that's good right there. Okay, so there we have the layout for the base page. And since I know I'm going to be using my 12 by 12 pocket pages, I'm going to go ahead and just take the white cardstock out of here for my base page, and I'll just adhere these pieces right to this white cardstock that comes with the 12 by 12 pockets. If you don't want to adhere it to your cardstock, you could also adhere this directly to your scrapbook page if you're using a traditional scrapbook page, or you can use one of my favorites, which is tape chips, and then weld the back together, and then just keep that ready for whenever you need to use that and put it on whichever page you'd like. Okay, so lots of different ways to build your base pages. So let's first just start by putting in our 3 by 12 strips of paper here. Okay, and then we're going to build the next layer with our 3 strips. We've got our sweater paper, and then our 9 by 9 plaid. There we go. And then our additional top piece. Okay, and then we're going to do the very same thing to the other side. Next, what we're going to do is create this really fun decorative element, which is a woven border maker strip. So with our cable chain border strip, we're going to take that little piece of 3/8 inch paper that we cut, and we're just going to weave that in and out, starting from the bottom, going up through the top. So just kind of back and forth. And this does take a couple minutes to do, and there's a lot of different techniques. I found the easiest for me is just to do it kind of like you're sewing a straight stitch. So just kind of back and forth, pulling the paper through as you go. And we'll keep doing that until the paper's all the way through our strip, just like this. Okay, so now that we have our 2 decorative border edges, I'm going to go ahead and set those in place. And these are going to go right on the seam at the bottom, but we're only going to start right at the polka dot line. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put some adhesive right along where those 2 pages meet, and then add my border strip. And once I have that in place, I'm just going to flip my paper over and trim the excess off. Now that is a fun little piece, so I'll set that aside because you never know where that can come in handy in a design. And then I'm just going to do the same thing over here to this edge. So I'm going to add that adhesive, start the strip at the edge of the polka dot paper, and put that in place, flip it over, and then trim the excess off. Okay. So now we have our base pages set. For this next part, I am going to use the Creative Memories envelope and bow maker. And I haven't had much of a chance to play around with this, and I do know it's sold out quite quickly. I do still have some of these available in my Scrap Some Joy shop. For today, if you don't happen to have an envelope and bow maker, you could also do the same kind of thing with a scoring board, and just fold the paper as we're folding here. Okay, so we're starting with our 4 by 4 squares, and we have 3 of those that we cut. And I was playing around a little bit, trying to find a way to make this really cute little envelope that we can tuck embellishments in. And so you'll notice on the guide, there isn't a size for a 4 by 4. But what I want you to do is actually just use the 2 on your guide. Okay, so right up here, you'll notice this is the number 2. So I'm going to use that to create my little envelopes. So I'm going to grab my scoring tool out and then just lightly go ahead and score. And then you flip your paper 180 degrees. Again, lining up with the 2. And we're going to score and score. So we just have the tiniest, cutest little envelope with those score lines on there. And I think you can kind of see those. So right where the score lines cross, that's your X. X marks the spot. And when you are looking to do the notch punch, that's what you always line up, is right there at the X of your score lines. So I'm just going to slide that in, line it up, and go ahead and punch to get my notches cut. So we do this 4 times. And then we have all our notches cut. Now I just want to round the top corners. So you can see the envelope and bow maker does make this process a lot easier. But like I said, you can do this just with folding and your corner rounder if you have it, or some kind of a scoring tool as well. Okay, but I do actually quite enjoy this fun little tool as I've gotten to use it a little bit more. Once we have our little envelope template cut, all we have to do is fold this in. So we're just going to keep the polka dot on the inside and use the sweater pattern on the outside. And so I'm going to fold those over and then just add a little adhesive to hold that together. And then I'm just going to add a little adhesive on the top of the bottom, so when I fold it up, it all sticks together. And there you have the perfect little envelope to help embellish our border. So we're going to be using some of these really cute little poinsettia embellishments, and we're just going to tuck them right in that envelope. Okay, so once you have your first one made, go ahead and finish up with the other 2. Aren't those just the cutest little envelopes you've ever seen? I'm really in love with this size. So once you have your 3 envelopes made, let's go ahead and add it right over here to the left-hand side to help create our border. So we're just going to kind of tuck those right on, then add some adhesive to the back, and we're going to go all the way up on the top of the envelope so that that top is also stuck down. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of layer that. And dance these across the page. So we're going to tilt a little bit. Yes, I am tilting. I know. I have a hard time tilting my photos, but I do enjoy tilting my embellishments. Okay, so we've got a few of those right in here. And now those are ready for our fun little embellishments that we're going to tuck in to help create our page. I was really debating on using some of the laser embellishments, and when I finally kind of got some of these pieces in place and then set this down along the top, I realized that I could clip that just at the perfect spot for this page. And I love the bringing that tan across, and that little touch of red to me just kind of finishes this whole layout. So you will need 2 of the laser packs just because there's only 1 strip of the birds, but I do just love those winter birds. So I'm going to have one starting with the rounded edge over on this side, and then we'll clip it here. And then this one, we're going to start with the rounded edge on this side, and we'll clip here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to this. So I'm going to do the same technique where I've added adhesive. I'm going to lay this in place and set that down. So I only put adhesive just up and left this part without any adhesive. So I'm going to do that, flip it over, and grab my scissors to snip this last part off. And once again, that would be a great addition. I could always tuck that into some kind of a little cluster later. So I always keep those little extras. So we've got this side done. Now let's work on the right hand side. Same thing. I'm going to add the adhesive and then set that in place and move that to where I really want to cut. I don't want to cut his little tail off, so I'm actually going to pull that over just a little bit so it overlaps the edge. Set that into place. And I haven't put those in place yet, so I'm going to slide those off and then just snip that extra piece. Those lasers are very thick, so sometimes it is nice to use our all-purpose scissors. I just love those scissors. They're so sharp and so easy to use. Okay, so I have those in place. I know I'm going to want my horizontal, most likely. This would work as a vertical as well. Either way, either orientation, I've got that ready for a photo. For the finishing touches, I've picked out some embellishments from the Seasonal Sightings embellishment pack. And I've also grabbed some of the stickers. And so this is where you can just kind of have some fun coming up with your own design, or you can just follow along. But what I've decided is I want to tuck some of the red. Again, I'm going to play the gold, the red, and kind of the cream back and forth across the two pages. So I'm going to use the poinsettias in the little pockets that we've created. And then I also found this cute little tag, and this has just that little bit of gold foiling on here as well. And lo and behold, look at that. It fits just perfectly inside that envelope. So I'm going to kind of tuck this in here. You can see I was kind of playing around a little bit about what I wanted to put where. And since I have red up here on top, I thought I would bring the white poinsettia down here into the bottom. And I love the ones that have that little touch of green leaf with them. Okay, and then we've got those kind of set. So I think I'll go ahead and add some adhesive. And of course, I'm always using my repositionable in case I need to just check it and see if I want it to be exactly where it is. And this tag, I'm going to have the tree kind of peeking out there, and then the white poinsettia with that little bit of green. Maybe I'll twist it. Nope, I like it better over here. Okay. And since I have the red, these little bits of red, I feel up here, I feel like I need to bring that red down as well. So I think, let's see, we've got this beautiful red poinsettia here. And oh, yep, I like that. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of dimension with my foam tape. And this is a sticker. So I'm just going to tuck that right inside and layered with the white one. So now I can kind of pull that white one up and out just a little bit. Yep, like that. And then I feel like I need a little something red right here. Ah, this one might be just perfect. Love and peace and joy. And that just kind of ties everything together. We've got the red going all the way through there now. Okay, so now we've got our cute little envelopes in place. Let's work on this bottom part over here for our cluster. And I love that house. So I think we just need to kind of create a base. Since this is kind of my focal point, I think first of all, I'm going to just add some foam tape to this. we go. Give that a little bit of dimension, so I know I can do some tucking behind that. This ornament has some great texture to it with the speckles, so I do like that as well. Okay, just kind of moving things around. I pulled the red piece tag because I liked the red and also kind of mirroring the tag element on this side of the layout as well. Okay, so I'm going to see where that's going to go. Okay, not bad there. Kind of like that. And then I feel like I do need one more layer of red over here, but I think instead of going with the large embellishment, I'm going to use that sticker again. So let's first start by getting these base pieces in place. And kind of once I have things, sometimes what I'll do is just lift up a certain bit of it. Try to remember exactly kind of where I had that in there. Repositionable tape always helps because you can just play around with it until you like exactly where that is. In fact, you know what? I think I am going to switch instead of the green. I'm going to switch to, that's better, just the solid red in there because all the green was kind of fighting with each other. And then I'm going to add a little adhesive to the piece. And I kind of like that just tucking right out. I'm going to turn this a little bit more just along the side of the page. Okay, so yep, that looks good right in there. And then I have another red poinsettia, so if I want to add that, ooh, I do like that layer of the red. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use foam tape one more time here. And so I've got this little bit right in here, and that does give a little different color of red in this cluster as well. So again, balancing everything out. So once we have that, I am happy with where all that is placed. I can just go ahead and add my little house and put that layered right on top. Bring that down. I love to see the center of the poinsettia flowers, so just going to move that until I have that in view. All right, so there we have a very easy, simple, but pretty fun and beautiful base page for your Christmas layout. I love having the tan, bringing that across. That would be perfect for a 4x6. You could just layer that right on top. We also have plenty of room on this layout for other 4x6 photos. Actually, this would be a 6x4. Could go here, and you could put two 4x6s over here. We've got room for a 4x4 in this area, and then I think a really fun place for a title could go either down here in this area, or you could scoot these down and do a beautiful title right here. And then you have, I think, just a perfect little spot. I would cut this at a 3x4. Let me see if I can find a, yep. Perfect little spot for a 3x4 that you could add in here. And this would be a perfect spot for journaling. Or you could do another photo. You could always layer a peekaboo pocket somewhere here and do your journaling behind it. And the choices are endless. So these are just a few layout options that you could use for this layout. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Scrap with Us. And when you get a chance and you finished this video, I'd love for you to hop on over to see what Kylie has created at Paper Sweet Pea. She always has some fantastic new ideas to share with you. and her video, shopping, and social links will be posted in the description of this video. As usual, I love reading your comments, so please do leave a note for me to read, and I'd love to see what you thought about this video. And if you'd like to see photos and close-ups of my finished layout using this base page and border idea, be sure to hop on over to my Instagram at craft.some.joy, or you can catch me on Facebook at Craft Some Joy with Lauren Hinds. And don't forget, if you'd like to continue building your library of our sketches and page layouts, Kylie and I will have our PDF versions for you to download available on our website. And don't forget to grab your free notebook insert to go along with them. So once again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. And until then, I hope you take time to craft some joy. Bye for now.